Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, April 11th, around 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 2023. The Kamchatka eruption is the big news today. We got on it early before most of the mainstream media. Ash has fallen over hundreds of square miles, up to 3 to 4 inches deep. Drifts of gray volcanic dust are seen here in some video footage that we'll get to later in the show. But the big story, red flag warning, hits New York City again as brush fire erupts in New Jersey. Keep calm. It's windy out there. The combination of high pressure, super dry air, and a light breeze leads to high fire risk for the area, hence the New York City red flag warning. 2 brush fires broke out in New Jersey by mid-afternoon Tuesday. Here you can see the elevated fire danger, and that is going to continue through the week. Critical fire weather conditions in New Hampshire, New England, and most of the East Coast. This is because the first 3 months of 2023 were record warm on the East Coast, from New York City to Florida, according to NOAA. And the data doesn't lie. The rest of the country, however, was well below average. And that means record snowpack, all-time record snowpack. Take a look at this. Some serious shovel work from Ski Patrol at Brighton Resort to keep the Gazek system working on Millie Peak. 850 inches. I think that's 70 feet of snow or more. That's insane. And you can just follow us on Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave on Twitter to get more updates like this one. There's the guy there at the bottom of the hole digging the totals. Now 2 men missing after paddle boarding on the Salt River in Phoenix. This is because of the heavy snowpack and the spring release here. These guys just were clueless. The only thing left is their paddle board here spinning around here at the Lowhead Dam. If you don't know about rivers and Lowhead dams like this, these are death traps. Do you see how the flow is going back here towards the roller? Yeah, it's in fact what these paddle boarders probably didn't know, and they're now stuck under the water and they are missing. And the deaths from this spring runoff is only going to get worse, especially with the whitewater season at hand. The river out here just hit 1,000 feet and rafts are going in as I speak. Now, a Gulf of Mexico system will spread wet weather across the south, and maybe some rain could be locally heavy and could lead to some flooding. The full forecast, central and eastern U.S. fire weather threats, heavy rain in the south. The combination of an approaching western front producing unsettled conditions in the northwest and building high pressure in the southeast will produce dry, windy conditions across parts of the plains here in Great Lakes, northeast, and even the southeast. A developing Gulf of Mexico low-pressure system will spread locally heavy rain that could cause flooding across the central Gulf Coast and Florida over the next few days. Let's take a look at that system and the forecast here. You can see the Pacific Northwest getting snow and moisture as that tropical system is just spinning around here. The panhandle of Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, and then the threat moves Friday to Florida and Georgia. Now, take a look at this the forecast here as we move it through. There's that system, the first of 2 that's going to be hitting Ontario, bringing record snow to Canada this spring. But take a look. More atmospheric rivers coming into California here Monday into Tuesday, and that could be the beginning of some epic flooding. It's going to continue again here just a week later. This looks like a bigger event, and that is going to begin Thursday, April 20th, and last for several days. Oh, look at that. All the way through the weekend. So that could be a major flooding event. It's also going to bring more snow to those record totals. 4 to 6 feet predicted through the 3rd week of April here in the Sierras. That's insane, with over 4 feet over a large swath in Ontario. So winter is not over. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. He's not happy with that. Seismic update. No quakes of note. We have continued activity in the Caribbean, or near Cuba and Puerto Rico, the Dominican and Puerto Rico. So we'll keep a close eye on that as this is ongoing swarms and a moderate uptick. No other quakes of note, all looking good on the Western Front. As volcano erupts in Russia, followed by an earthquake. And they have some footage here. We'll take a quick look at it. Watch one of Russia's most attractive volcanoes shoot vast clouds of ash. Now, not a lot of people got much footage, so we're going to bring you all the footage we can, which is mostly just this video. Kind of interesting. But the monster Russian volcano spewed an historic ash cloud over villages. Take a look at this situation here. Oh dear. Let's blow that up for you. That is going to take a little bit of a car wash, I would imagine. A huge volcano in Russia called Shiveluch erupted Tuesday, triggering a series of emergency warnings, including a no-fly zone. Yes, alert level 2 red. The strongest ashfall in 60 years occurred in Kamchatka due to the eruption of Shiveluch. And we do have, well, there's the footage. Let's take a look at some of the ash in the region. It's insane. Now, clearly this is on top of snow, but when the sun comes out, it's going to help melt that snow, I would imagine. Once again, historic eruption from Shiveluch. It's now erupted about 60 times in the Holocene in a significant way. And the Shiveluch volcano in Kamchatka, the ash plume drifts hundreds of kilometers towards southern Kamchatka. A thick tephra blanket threatened nearby villages. Absolutely insane. Take a look at this. This is tephra, 6 to 8 inches thick. And there's the volcano. And the ash, you can see it in 2 directions there. And the car buried, and the tephra. Lots of sulfur dioxide coming from this event as well. There's a huge area way up in the red zone there. This is the SO2 detection within the eruption plume from Shiveluch, thanks to Tropomi and Sentinel-5. So the ash cloud actually went to 16 kilometers. Heavy ash rain darkened the sky. Like we said, aviation color code went to red. And them's are the stories. Now, just a week before, Bezimiany exploded, and scientists were caught in the ash fall. So let's take a look at this. This is pretty insane. Rocks as large as 4 inches were falling on them, and they were hiding under their sleds. Bezimiany means volcano with no name. So interesting stuff happening on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Overall, worldwide volcano news update, we have Shiveluch to 28,000. Reventador, Ibu, Semaru, Nevados de Ruiz. We're waiting for a big boom coming from there, as there has been an uptick in seismicity at Nevado de Ruiz. And Shiveluch is still puffing to 33,000 feet today. So still volcanic ash up to 33,000 feet in the region, as it might be just burping and clearing its throat. Space weather news update. Very few sunspots. Let's look at the latest HMI intensity. Just a few pepper pricks and not much flaring activity, as we are flaring all mostly in the low-level C range. One impulsive M flare, low-level M flare. Nothing significant. No CMEs produced. And the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet on the Solar Max sun. The Pentagon leaked. Have you heard about it? It was a leak that occurred on Discord. It was traced to a video game chat with a group user arguing over the war in Ukraine. Now, what do you need to know about U.S. classified documents leaked on social media? Well, take a look.
With an assessment that they will not be met.
About 20 pages are serial intelligence reports produced by different agencies. A serial report is a 1-paragraph concise reporting on a specific issue in a specific country. The other 20 some pages are maps and war updates from Ukraine.
Are the documents real, and how were they leaked? Pictures of creased documents were posted on platforms across the internet, including Discord, 4chan, Telegram, and Twitter. US officials believe most of the material is genuine. Some documents, however, appear to have been altered to show inflated US estimates for Ukrainian battlefield casualties, as well as understated numbers for Russian forces.
It appears that whoever had access to the files had them in print form, because otherwise, why would you take pictures of them and then distribute the pictures? And so that means we could simply be looking at, we have to include very mundane explanations, like somebody could have literally lost a bag of classified documents, or somebody could have had access to that suitcase in some car, whatever it was. So there could be some very unusual explanations for what is, after all, a very unusual, leak or...
Could be Hunter Biden's laptop. I mean, anything is possible. But the largest critical leak of secret information and on our military in decades, as Biden signs a bill ending COVID-19 national emergency. Hooray! The insane emergency that never was has officially come to the end as the administration sweeps it under the rug in the wake of a failed, well, Twitter isn't a company anymore. It's been merged into a new entity called X Corp. And, well, the lefties are pissed, I'm sure. Bye-bye, Twitter. Hello, X. Louisville is mourning the mass shooting that occurred the other day by an employee at a bank. It turns out that he may have had some issues with major concussions as a child, and that leads to some horrific mental illness. He even called a friend before he committed this crime and told them that he was suicidal. And once again, the powers that be call out the fact that we need to pass laws. There's not a single law you could pass that would have prevented any of these mass shootings. All the guns are purchased legally. The problem is the psychopaths with the weapons. Period. Now, I hope you're preparing. Economist Harry Dent expects the biggest crash in our lifetime to hit between now and mid-June. Holy macaroni. Buy that silver, or maybe even some Bitcoin. Well, actually, it's a little high now. And that's a boom, the knowledge. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. We are shadow banned, and it's the only way we can grow. Support the channel by becoming a Patreon, or join our new web service, Ask Diamond Anything, at 5.me/Diamond. All the links will be below. We love you. Be safe. And that's a boom.